La 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 la, ASMR time. So tuck yourself in because now I can sleep. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the space where I can sleep with Kenny tonight. I hope you guys have been taking good care of yourselves. And if you have not seen my very first entry to this podcast, you definitely should go check it out because we talk about self care and self love on there. It was my very first entry that I actually put out on Valentine's Day, so it was actually a really good time since we were talking about love, self love, and self care and stuff like that. So, just in general, regardless of it's a special holiday or not, you guys should be taking good care of yourselves because our own well being and health is our first priority and should always be our first priority before and above anything else. And before we get started on tonight's little babbling, I just want to let you guys know that if you guys enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy the content I've been putting out on all of my platforms, please do follow and subscribe to me on all of my platforms: YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and also on Patreon or Patreon, however you want to pronounce it. Become a patron for me for the extra support because it really does help me quite a bit. It helps, fund the content that I'm doing, and it could potentially help me improve the quality of my content in the future. And of course, you guys will get benefits as well. Includes BTS content, not BTS as in the group, but behind the scenes content, exclusives that no one else gets to see, maybe some spicy stuff every now and then. Who knows? You'll just have to find out, and hopefully you'll be surprised and that you enjoy it. But also, you get shout outs as my patrons because you guys are like great supporters of mine. I have to shout you guys out, and then most importantly, I already have a ASMR weekly thing that I do on there. We're about to be on our 26th week where on a weekly basis I keep you guys updated on my life and how I'm doing, what I've been up to, plans, and then I also check up on you guys, so then you guys will be able to message me directly on there or comment on there if you guys would like, because I do want to check up on you guys as well, to see how you guys are doing, because if you guys follow me, you guys should know, like, what I stand for and stuff that I talk about, advice I give and stuff like that, even though I'm really not in any position to be giving other people advice. But when you guys ask for it, of course I try to do my best. I'm not a professional therapist, but I try to do what I can to help. And as Superman says, happy to help a friend. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. To segue into the subject for today, I just want to start off by telling you guys what I've been up to lately. Just I've been constantly keeping up with content, auditions. Auditioning is a constant thing that I have to keep up with. Otherwise, I could lose the chance, the opportunity to find a good role. So I have to always audition, always have to submit every single day. I have to check emails. I have to keep up with everything. But then, of course, I have to leave time for other things as well in my life. Otherwise, I'd go freaking crazy. I have to make time for, of course, the self care, as I mentioned, which means eating and resting enough. And of course, also for my other hobbies as well, because I do like to watch movies and shows. However, I honestly have been really behind on a lot of stuff. So lately, I was supposed to be on my anime journey, but I have kind of dove off of that for a bit, and I've been catching up on other stuff. Like, I have actually binged Euphoria for one, which as of this moment, there is one episode left to go for season 2, and I've literally binge watched it for 2 days, and I have gotten so hooked onto it that I am frustrated that the last episode isn't there for me to watch. And now I have to wait, and I am mad, but it's a pretty good show. I will definitely get more into it in my next entry. My next entry will be dedicated to reviewing what I thought about Euphoria. It will not be a review really, it will just be more of my thoughts, and I'll be talking about it a bit. But yeah, it's pretty very interesting. I can see why there were a lot of complaints from people who were probably triggered and disturbed by it. However, it is pretty enlightening to see that being portrayed on the screen. It's very, it brings awareness, and the drama is, it really pisses me off, but rightfully so because I think it's meant to piss us off, and I can see, like it's very well deserved of the awards and nominations that it got. So, like I said, I will go more into detail about Euphoria in my next podcast entry. But another thing that I've been binge watching is Peacemaker, which as we speak, I am on the finale episode, so I will probably finish it after I actually get off this podcast. I have not laughed this much in a long time for any kind of movie or show. I think this is mainly because of John Cena and the characters that he interacts with. They're just so ridiculous, low key frustrating, but it's so funny. The comedy, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's over the top, but it's weird. It kind of fits the kind of humor I have, dry humor, dark humor. So I think that's pretty much why I like it. And John Cena, he's really grown as an actor. I really enjoy watching him. I think he fits the Peacemaker character very well, and the improv, and it's I definitely recommend you guys watch it. Even if you are not a superhero fan, I recommend it. If you have dark and dry humor, I definitely recommend it for sure. I literally only started this show this morning. When I'm recording this right now, I am recording this on February 24th, Thursday, and it is currently 11 p.m. at night. I'm recording this. I started the show this morning, and I'm currently now on the finale. I have it paused while I'm doing this podcast, of course. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. And then, other than trying to catch up with shows, I've also been trying to keep up with my health, fitness, and stuff, which a part of it is trying to stay active, as well as my training as in my martial arts training, which, if you guys didn't know, I have started really like legit practicing martial arts for a few months now. I would say probably we started in October, or I started in October. Like, I say we because it's actually me and a couple of my really close friends from high school. We started doing this together since we were all like people who grew up loving martial arts, but then we never really like practiced it until recently. One of them already practiced boxing, and I self teach myself off of tutorials and copying movies and stuff. And then the other one, he came in completely fresh. And then luckily, the person teaching me, who is also a good friend of mine, he accepted all three of us. Based off his words, is because we have a very open mind, the three of us, and we're not very thick-headed or anything. We're very open. We are pretty much starting with on an empty canvas, and we're just taking in everything fresh and everything. I kind of forget after a while because it's been a few months. It's every week, every Sunday is me going over there, lessons, and it's just every time. It's so fun, let me tell you. If you're someone who has not gotten into practicing martial arts and you would like to, I definitely recommend it for sure, because not only is it fun, it is really enlightening. And ever since I started, uh, whenever I talk to martial arts friends about my experience, I tell them the same thing, that it is just very enlightening, and it's opened my eyes quite a bit, and it's taught me a bit not only about the martial arts world, but about myself and human behavior for sure. Because let me tell you, just off of the first and two lessons, my friend was able to point out to me so many things about me as a person through the way I was learning and moving as he was teaching me. Like, You know how people naturally have an ego about them, or like a feeling of uncomfortability when someone breaches their wall or like gets into their bubble? That was definitely shown through me in the way I moved, because I had these habits where I would stiffen up or I would like pull away, because I think, because naturally when someone gets close to you, you feel uncomfortable, you get tense, you want to pull away, you no longer feel relaxed and stuff. That's human nature, of course, and that's why I acted the way I did at first, because that's I didn't know how to relax at first. I would say now, compared to then, I am a lot more relaxed now. Oh yeah, and basically, I didn't tell you what I was learning. I'm learning Wing Chun right now, which, if you don't know what it is, if you have seen any of the Ip Man movies, if you have not, I recommend those movies for sure. Donnie Yen plays Ip Man. He has 4 movies. They're great. But a little context, a little history first. Ip Man is probably the most well-known teacher of Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee has had many teachers who taught him KungFu when he was young, but Ip Man was probably the more known of his teachers, and the style that he taught Bruce was Wing Chun. Bruce Lee's martial arts that he created, Jeet Kune Do, a lot of the foundations were based off of Wing Chun principles. So, and it was lucky for me that I remembered my friend and his family. They come from a lineage of Wing Chun, and they live only like 5 to 10 minutes away. I was lucky to remember that, oh, I actually have friends who study martial arts. I can go to them and they can teach me. Honestly, I'm just very lucky. And not only that, they are really good at what they do. I'll just say that. I won't go too much into detail about it. I appreciate them so much for taking me and my friends in and teaching us, be willing to teach us what they know, teach us their secrets, because I definitely understand why they would be picky with students, because martial arts, I would say, sure, anyone can learn it, but I don't think it should be taught to everyone, because there are people who would definitely misuse it. And I can definitely understand when, like, when their hesitation, because I bet there are a lot of people who would come to them, wanting to learn just for the sake of like wanting to learn to fight better, probably because of how dramatized it is in the movies, and how they like to make a certain style very powerful, and like, oh, it's so cool, it's the most powerful and the coolest style in the world. Wing Chun was no different. Like, as much as I recommend the Ip Man movies, they're great. I would say they did have a factor in me wanting to learn Wing Chun, because I have to admit, it looked super cool. The style looked super cool in the movies. And an, a little side note, I another thing that learning Wing Chun has helped me, or just learning martial arts in general has helped me with, because I've loved watching martial arts movies since I was little. Now that I've actually learned martial arts, I'm able to now look at choreography, martial arts choreography, and even Wing Chun choreography differently now, because now I can actually see what they're doing. I can see what they're doing. I can like watch out for things and pick up on things that I never really paid attention to really before. Adding on top of my filmography knowledge that I learned from school and picking up from sets and doing content of my own. So all of that put together, like, gears are grinding now as I watch martial arts films now, and with Wing Chun, when I go back now watching Ip Man movies, after I have now learned Wing Chun myself, I can see in the choreography stuff that I'm doing during my lessons. And it's just really cool to feel like, wow, I can do what they can do now. You know, like I have learned what they have learned, and it's such a cool feeling, you know, as I'm watching. But back to the whole thing with dramatizing though. Yeah, e- but yes, um, part of me wanting to learn Wing Chun was because of those movies, and it's probably with others there it was no different. But I don't think I had the intention of using it, of learning it, because I thought Wing Chun was the like coolest and most powerful, most unstoppable style in the world. You know, I will say that I wanted to learn it at first, because of the series I was working on. But then as I got so much more invested into learning martial arts as a whole and how much it was really helping me grow as a person, now after a few months now, it's no longer just for like working on projects or anything anymore. Even though it is partly for that, because I do want to do action projects in the future for my career. I want to continue learning martial arts just as a hobby and as a growth method for me, because I can I can honestly say confidently that it's helped me mature a bit. It's helped me relax a bit. It's helped me see the world more. I don't want to say logically, but differently. It's not differently. It's how I've seen it already, but it's pretty much given me reassurance of what I've felt already. Usually, when beginners start learning a certain style, they choose probably based off of what they have seen, either from movies or what they've heard from people, what they've seen. Yeah, basically, or mostly from what they have seen. They have it in their heads that that certain style that they're choosing to learn, oh, this is unstoppable. Oh, this is the strongest style ever. It's the most efficient style. And if I learn this, I'm gonna be unstoppable. No one can beat me if I just learn this, you know. And then, so based off of that, going back to me understanding why, um, masters and including my friend would be picky with who they want to teach, because probably a lot of students go to them with that kind of mindset. Oh, teach me how to be good. Teach me how to be unstoppable, which honestly, if you ask me, no style is really unstoppable. And it honestly depends on the fighter or the practitioner or whoever you want to call them, how they use their style efficiently, and, you know, how they carry themselves, you know. No style is really more superior over the other. It's, I don't know, it where this pride or ego, why people still carry it. I mean, I think this is where I appreciate my friends for accepting me, and I'm very appreciative of having been raised to be open-minded, not only by my family, but having friends around me who are also just as open-minded, so then I continue to be the way I am. But then, yeah, being open minded enough to learn, but also being open minded enough to take stuff in from other platforms, other styles as well, which is basically what Bruce Lee was trying to tell us, which is why he was given I think he's called by a lot of people in the martial arts world the godfather of MMA or something, mixed martial arts, because he advocated the idea of learning multiple styles, taking what works for you from all of them, and then bringing them together for your own martial arts, you know? And it's going to be different for everyone. That's why just learning one style and thinking it's superior over the other, it really restricts you, you know? Because it could be lacking something that another martial art could, you know, could fill up. It could fill up that void. It could fill up for whatever is lacking. You know, what works for you probably works for someone else. So that's why when it comes to the martial arts world, no one should be attacking each other for anything. They should be more open-minded and willing to learn from one another. Um, it's like we've mentioned, it's an ego and pride thing. Like we want to seem like the strongest and everything because no one wants to look weak, you know? I mean, of course, we don't want to look weak, but if we do happen to be weak, we should embrace that because we need to acknowledge if we are weak or if we have a weakness. So then from there, we can actually learn what we can do to change that or to turn that into a strength or to strengthen ourselves. I feel like part of having strength is acknowledging if you have a weakness, acknowledging that you're weak if you are, and being aware of what you are capable of and what you are not, and how you are going to react to that and how you're going to change that. It's all like through trials and stuff. And learning martial arts now, like for real, legit, it's definitely every week it's testing me. Like, not only is it consistently, like, it's testing me to make sure I actually retain everything I'm learning, but also seeing how far I can go. I do kind of get one thing that I've been told that after learning martial arts, because it makes you a bit relaxed and a little bit confident now, it might hype you up a bit whenever you see a fight or someone wants to pick a fight, because now that you've learned all these things, you feel so confident that you can beat the other person now. I can sometimes get that feeling because sometimes when I do practice just a little, this thing called feeding hands where um, I practice that with my friend. We do get a little bit hyped a bit, so we wanna add a little tension, a little pressure on each other. It's our practices is never about wanting to overwhelm the other person, but then I think it's just something that naturally comes out of us because, like I say, it's an ego and pride thing. Probably it's subconscious, but it just comes out because we get super excited and hyped, and we wanna get in on some action. But we have to remember to just relax, just go with the flow, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. Yeah, and it's definitely, I would say it's helped me realize how I am as a person. Like I said before, it how I am basically reflected in my movements and my gestures. Like for example, one of the few things that was pointed out to me in the very beginning was how I stuttered a lot, I hesitated a lot, and I would be defeated easily. Like, for example, you know how sometimes when you make a mistake or something, you either stutter, you hesitate, or when you would make a mistake, you would like, you would tilt your head down or you would just drop your hands, like you're a bit defeated, like, okay, I'm sorry, or something like that. I kind of did that a lot. It kind of reflected how I was because my personality is uh, very much like that. I put myself down too much. I punish myself a little bit too much for mistakes I make, and I tend to keep holding on when I should be just letting go because the thing that I needed to learn with this and um, was to just keep moving forward. If I make a mistake, even though in really martial arts and in movement, there's really no such thing as making a mistake if it works. But the point is that if I already did something, just keep going with it. There's no going back after you already do something. You can't take it back. You and plus also in this kind of thing, if you ever were to get into a fight, there are no second chances. Once you throw something, there's no taking it back. There's no turning back time to fix it or anything. If you get hit, you get hit. If you throw a hit, you just keep going forward and you do it, So it's just the keep moving forward, no hesitation, no like looking back, because looking back is only gonna hold you back, and that was something that was reflected in how I learned, how I move. So it took me quite a bit to get out of that habit, which luckily now I can confidently say that I don't do that quite much anymore. Like probably 80 to 90% of that habit is gone. I'm a lot more relaxed now. So even in general, not even just with learning Wing Chun, the practices, but I'm a bit more relaxed now in general. I try not to let things get to me now, and I've definitely learned to let go of a lot of things now. I have now committed myself more to just moving forward in life and not looking back as much when it comes to my mistakes and regrets and everything. You know, even though a couple of decisions I've made this year have been pretty reckless and rash, so I do have to pull back a little bit because I might be going a bit overboard a bit, but at least it's better than holding myself back. At least I can say that I've been moving forward. So it's definitely helped me a lot in my mental health for sure. But one of the biggest things it's helped me with when it comes to the relaxation is helping me go to sleep. Because let me tell you, there have been times recently where I have a hard time falling asleep. I don't know if it's because my mind is just constantly thinking of stuff at night. This is one of the things of me hating to do stuff at night because it turns me into a night owl, and I do not want to be a night owl. And having my body be programmed to wake up early in the morning for no reason at all does not go well together. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's actually helped me fall asleep easier, because part of learning Wing Chun is being relaxed, doing things slow. And what I've come to find is you know how there are forms and techniques to do? We have like first form, second form, third form. So I do the first form right before bed. So yeah, let me clarify. So what I've done now, I've started to do, and I've kept up with it consistently, is I give myself at least 30 minutes before bed every night. No technology, no anything. I put those away. I turn off the lights. I close my eyes, complete darkness. I stretch, and everything. I loosen up, and then I do my first form, my Wing Chun form. Completely relaxed, slow. It takes me about 8 to 10 minutes to finish the entire form when I do it slowly and relaxed, and it works. It forces me to relax, because while practice we have to relax anyways if we are able to react fast, and we get our most power from that soft aggression or relaxed aggression, from what we call it in practice. But yeah, doing the form, it forces us to relax, and to help us sleep better, we have to be relaxed too. We can't. It's hard for us to fall asleep when we're all tense and uncomfortable and everything. So, in that sense, doing the Wing Chun form, it definitely helps my body loosen up and relax before bed, and it's helped me fall asleep so much faster and easier. Because when I do the forms, when I tell you I yawn a lot, I yawn a lot. I've yawned between 5 to 10 times during doing the forms. And by the time I finish the form and then I just fall onto my bed and get under my covers, I am beat. I am ready to just knock out, which is exactly what I want to feel every night before bed. Because when I get into bed, I'm ready to sleep. So doing the Wing Chun forms, it's definitely helped me a lot, and keeping this up every night, it's helped a bit, and it's helped me discipline a bit. So at least I got that going for me. Despite me sleeping late, it's at least a consistent thing that I've kept up. It's the one routine that I have not let up at all. So I am glad for that. And before learning martial arts, this was definitely something that I did not do. So, and plus also martial arts is something that I've added to my fitness regimen too. So thanks to my other friend that I practice with who does boxing, I also have added boxing to my workouts. So I do some shadow boxing, and then I do kicks as well. So out of all, like amongst the three of us who practice together, I think each of us, outside of Wing Chun, we each have our own other martial art that we also want to learn. Like I said, my other friend who is a boxer, the guy teaching us, he also does boxing, karate, Muay Thai, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling. He does all those stuff. I I think I'm more of the kicker. I do like a little grappling and wrestling as well. So once we get more into the fight theory and we start bridging other martial arts and stuff in our practices, I think grappling and wrestling is something I definitely want to get into, and as well as kicking, because I do not want to get swept off my feet. Unless it's by a girl. But not here to talk about that today. But we were talking about sleeping, right? Which is actually perfect timing, because after this, I'm going to be cleaning up, going to bed, and I'm going to be going into my Wing Chun forms, my 30 minutes of, relaxation to get ready for bed. Definitely recommend you guys learning a martial arts if you guys are really interested, for sure, because one, you look cool and badass when you do it, but also I feel like it will really improve your mental health, physical health, and it will give you a very good self-reflecting, enlightening experience on yourself as a person. And definitely once you learn it and you see other people practicing martial arts, you can see their habits, you can pick up their behaviors based just off of how they move. And especially once if you practice with them and you exchange hands with them, you make contact with them, you get a sense of how they are as people, and their attitude and their feelings. So now thinking about it, off the just popping up in my head, in anime, when they say that you can feel a person's like emotions, how they feel just based off exchanging hands, that's a real thing. That's actually a real thing. I just completely thought, I never thought of that before until now. Wow, that's insane. But yeah, definitely take up learning martial arts when you ever get the chance. What martial arts? That's up to you, really. But I would recommend not restricting yourself to only one. I would definitely recommend learning at least two, at least more than one, because, like I said, learning one is cool to commit to one, but then you should definitely branch out and learn others, just in case, like, it will definitely help you learn even more. And it's good to learn multiple things, but also, like I said, each style, it's not perfect. Learning other stuff will definitely help you grow, help you become more effective and efficient as a martial arts practitioner and fighter. But yeah, just overall, just be open-minded. Let me just say this also. These martial arts and everything, it's not how it's portrayed in the movies. It's not as badass as it is made out to be in the movies, as these choreographed fights are. Definitely during practices and stuff and learning the forms and everything, it looks more ridiculous, if anything. But the way your body gets conditioned and the way you move, the self-defense and how strong you get, that's legit. But then the choreographed fights and looking badass, that's not real. That if you're gonna look like that, then don't expect that. Don't learn to look like that. Learn it to grow as a person. Learn it to become stronger. Learn it for the right reasons, and be prepared to invest some money into it too, because these people got to make money too. And learning martial arts is valuable knowledge. So definitely invest money, invest time, invest effort because it is worth it. And as a great friend of mine says, KungFu fixes everything. And I definitely believe that for sure. So as much as I would like to say that my voice and this podcast will help you guys sleep, maybe learning martial arts will help you as well in that department. But still, if you're still listening to this, hopefully this is enough. I mean, if you're still listening at this point, I clearly have not done my job. And how have you lasted all this time? Because I have talked for a while, and the fact that you're still listening to this, you must have a lot of time on your hands. But yeah, I will end this off here. Again, if you enjoy what I'm doing, please follow me on all my platforms, subscribe, and let me know what I should talk about in future podcasts. Like I said, for my very next one, we will be talking about Euphoria. So if you're excited for that, please look forward to it. Subscribe and follow so then you can keep up with all my updates. And yeah, take care of yourself. Sleep well, eat well, stay active, stay healthy, stay safe, of course, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye. Good night. Bye.